In all honesty, this thing has sat on my to-do list for so long that, well, I don't really have much of a choice here. I have to trade in all of these because I need... That should probably right there be enough, but you know what? I'm going to go for... Oh, I can't go all in. I can only max out the daily limit. Not that it matters, though. I only needed about 20,000 of that because I just leveled up literally yesterday. I had to wait until it reset, which it's just done. I need this part, which, there it is. That alloy could be a bit problematic. Have everything else. We'll definitely have to go wisp farming, sadly. And this part. Yes, this meant that I had to do some eidolon farming, which I just haven't done a lot of, if I'm brutally honest. Pretty much two of the 3 parts of this use macrae livers, which is obviously one of the rarer fish to get, but it seems to be the scaffold side of this that's popping up on the hard to have parts to build, because that pyrotic stuff, there's got to be a reason I've only got 25 of it when I've got 140 of these things and 110 of the other ones, and fish oil's easy to get, morphics. Yep, we'll be doing a lot of wisp farming, mainly because I have just enough to actually be able to build the pyrotic alloy, but the wisps are going to be another matter. So I'll probably bring you back when I'm assembling this thing. And now these are done, so we'll just claim all 3 of these, run back here, and amp assembly. This time it should come up with ones that I own. It should be this one, and this one, and it should be the same one that was, well, I think I showed it earlier. And oh yes, it doesn't actually use standing to build this. I was actually really worried about this, and I won't show it the whole gilding process, but once you level it up once, you have to return here and gild it, and when gilded, it has more status, more crit chance, a lot more crit chance. Wow, I didn't actually realize it was that much. That's actually pretty good. Let's build this thing, level it up, come back, gild it, then level it all up all over again, because, you know, there's nothing like leveling the same thing multiple times to make... Yep. And even now, after all of this time, I don't actually regret this. When I set out on this to actually get this, it was to get to Mastery Rank 26 as soon as possible, because it became a thing and I didn't have this. Through the clan's help, I was able to get it. The last one, when I did this, I regretted that one. It turned out to be an okay amp, but I kind of preferred the one beforehand, whereas this, there was zero regret to it. The alternate fire being a giant, well, it's not really a beam, but it shoots lots of rounds at once, works pretty well, but it's the fact that it has this semi-automatic type feel to it. And by that, I mean, I don't mean it's a semi-auto, I mean it's an automatic trigger to it, but when you fire it, it feels like it's a fully automatic when it's not really, because it has a limited amount that you can fire from this, but you have to gild it. If you don't gild it, it's pretty useless, and being a 30% crit chance goes really well when eidolon farming, because if you have a harrow there, and yes, during the first one of these I did for the footage for this, I actually got wrong at the end of it because I wasn't using harrows forth enough. But that came down to not having the power to do so. That entire eidolon hunt, so some of this footage was very, what's the best way I can put it? Rubbish. The second one went so much better and so much smoother, and it all just came down to this thing. I much prefer this than the other ones, even though the last one had a 38% crit chance. This only has a 30%. It also does 2,400 damage, this does 1,000 damage, so it seems to do less damage, it has less accuracy, it has less status, but it's just the way that it fires made it more usable for a day-to-day basis type of use, which is where I kind of as I mentioned earlier, I don't regret doing this. It just turned out to be much better than I was expecting it to be, because everything I'd heard said this thing was completely rubbish. This just isn't true. Its secondary fire, or alternate fire as I mentioned it, does 6,100 damage, so its auto mode does 1,000 per round, and it fires fairly quickly, but that alternate one, which is actually a semi-automatic firing mode by the way, does 6 times the damage. Yes, you obviously cannot shoot it as much, but it also has the 34% crit chance that made this thing just way better than I expected it to be. I'm going to leave this one on, which sucks because I've just put the lens on the last one when they released this, but this has been out for a while. I just didn't build it because I heard so many bad things about it, and I was very happy to see that these bad things just weren't true. This was totally worth actually building, and yes, I'm aware this would be the fourth, technically the fifth amp, the fourth one that you build, and I still have no idea what I called this video. It is kind of nameless while recording this, but anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous hopefully today if Fortuna launches, if not tomorrow when Fortuna launches, if it launches this week.